Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Welcome to episode 119 of Hobby Quick Hits. Hope everyone is well. If you're listening to this on show release date, Monday, July 4th, happy 4th of July to you and yours. Hope it's going to be a safe and happy one, shared with friends and family. If you're listening to this after the holiday, hopefully you came out safe and healthy from it and had a good time. So today's episode, I was going to do a predictions episode where I kind of put on my thinking cap and kind of, people ask me all the time, like, hey, John, what's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen with this or that or the market or all sorts of like hobby future questions. And frankly, I know as much as you. Maybe the only advantage I have, quite frankly, is just doing this a long time, and sometimes I don't even think that's actually an advantage. So I was going to do that episode, but I'm like, I think I want to wait till after the National. I kind of want to see how the National goes, kind of the vibe in the room, what the card manufacturers, what the grading card companies do, how they approach the National, which at this point is really just slightly over 20 days away. I mean, it's close, folks, and I hope to see many there. So I'm going to hold off on the predictions, in air quotes there, show until after the National. But, it's Independence Day, right? We celebrate our independence from Great Britain on July 4th, 1776, broke free from under their rule, became, 13 counties basically became states, and we became our own entity, our own country. And I thought about, the parallel to the hobby. I know that's a stretch, but, we have many freedoms in the hobby. Sometimes I think we even take our own freedoms for granted. So this show is going to kind of, go over those. Many of these you probably should know that you have that sort of power, but just a friendly reminder of the power we have as hobbyists. Now, I did a show, I'm not sure when it was, I didn't look it up before, hitting record here. I did a show called Be the CEO of Your Hobby. And it's going to be along those lines, right? That, you make the decisions of what you want to do. It's going to be different. I'm not going to do the same show. Otherwise, I could just re-record that. But it's going to be along those lines, right? That you have the power. This is your hobby. You can make choices. But before we get into the show, we're going to hear a word from our great sponsors, Mojo Break. After the break, we're going to get into our new releases, our hobby news, and a Q&A, and then we'll get tackling about hobby independence.
MojoBreakShop.com is the best place to get your sealed wax products and brakes. They not only have the best selection, but the best prices. Whether it's a box or a whole case, they are your guys. They ship worldwide to your doorstep. Their reputation as one of the most trusted in the hobby goes unmatched. They are the 2021 Topps Rip Party Champion Breakers. From sports card to Pokemon cards, their selection can't be beat. They offer daily deals and pre-orders.
Hey guys, John Newman here. Mojo's prices are already great, but to save an additional 10% off anything in their store, use the code QUICKHITS. That's QUICKHITS. Check out the full service store that's open 7 days a week in Santa Clara, California, or the website at mojobreak.com.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Max.
Hi guys, it's Max from the Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo, Michigan. I'm going to bring you the weekly releases for this week. On the 6th, we have 2022 Topps Definitive Baseball. On the 8th, we have 2021 Leaf Trinity Baseball, 2021 Leaf Trinity Soccer, 2022 Onyx Vintage Collection Football, 2021-22 Panini Prism Basketball Hobby. Enjoy your week. Have a great rest of your day.
Time for the segment where you ask me a question and I answer it here on the podcast.
All right, today's question comes by way of Instagram from Nick M. And Nick says, "Hey, John, here you are in the teaching profession. Does that help you when it comes to the cards or the hobby?" Kind of a cool question. I never really thought about it on those terms. I'll say this. I teach special ed, so, these young men and women have some learning disabilities, if you will, and things going on mental illness-wise. So have to be patient, right? Have to be a good listener when they're venting or talking about stuff going on in their lives. And so I guess if I take anything from my professional life, it's to be patient, hear things out, kind of observe, right? Take a look what's going on, because another thing, we have to watch the kids and be responsible for them. So, observing, listening, patience, which is all important, I think, in the hobby. Just kind of taking things in before you sort of jump the gun, right? Or make a conclusion too early. So I never thought about it until this question came in. But yeah, I guess it does. I think some of that also, truth be told, comes from almost 40 years of doing it. Like, if you can't figure it out, in that amount of time, then probably not going to happen. So I think the teaching part sort of, cements that, if you will, reinforces those traits that I try to have. Am I 100% perfect? No, not a chance. And very few people, if any, are. So, but sure, I think it helps, at least in some small ways. Nick, thank you for the question. Anyone that has a question, you can submit it via email, social media, PM, DM, call me up, whatever the case may be. I get, questions pretty much almost every week, and sometimes I just answer them point blank, and then sometimes I'll answer them and then ask to use it on the show, like I did in this case. But if you have a question you want to hear, answered on the air, credit to you. By all means, send those questions to us. Thanks.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
Pretty big news week, or significant. Some stories to go over here. PSA. Remember those Star Company sets from the early 80s that they used to grade in the 90s, and then they stopped due to a lot of fakes and fugazis? Now, I'll give Beckett Grading credit. They've continued to grade them, but PSA stopped due to, difficulties, quite frankly, determining the reals from the fakes. Well, they're going to start grading them again, but an exception. They're only going to grade the 1984-85 series. That's the one that contains a lot of those XRC rookies, right? Jordan, Barkley, Olajuwon, those guys. The debate what's the real rookie, right? The 86, 87, or those Star Companies. Now, I will tell you this. My thought process there is, the 86, 87 Fleer obviously comes out of Fleer packs and boxes. That's different than the Star Company cards, which were mail order by team in team bags. So, to me, that Fleer is still the rookie card. I see a lot of memes and stuff on social media sort of debating that. I really don't think there is a debate, but to some, those Star Company sets and individual cards still have value. By what I said, it's not a correlation with value. It's just what is considered the rookie card. So PSA is going to grade that 84-85 series again. They will grade them. They will take them at the National but they will be sent back to their California location to go through the grading process, and then will be mailed to you.
Some people will do anything to get a baseball. But if you buy 5 of your favorite starting lineup figures, you can get this official starting lineup baseball free. And catch this, it's got 25 autographs of today's greatest Major League players: Andre Dawson, Pedro Guerrero, Wade Boggs, Mike Scott, Don Mattingly. Just send in 5 proofs of purchase to this address for your free starting lineup baseball. It's going, get it before it's gone.
Did that commercial take you back to 1988? Because that's when that aired. I remember it 34 years ago, right? Starting lineups. Well, this is not new news, but we have more details, right? We know about Hasbro in partnership with Fanatics bringing back starting lineups. They're coming out in September. They will be via pre-order. They're going to start with Basketball Legends of the Past. They will be 6 inches, and they haven't released any images, but we are being told that this will not be like the starting lineups of the 80s and 90s. They're going to be more modern, more lifelike, more resemblance to, the players that they represent. That as great as starting lineups were back in the day, looking at them now, many of them, facial-wise, look very similar, right? They're not done very well. But we love them. Let's be real. We love them. I'm not knocking them. But the new renditions are going to be obviously modernized, more, resemble the players that they represent. I believe they're going to be more movable and posable. The others kind of had a base that they were like connected to, so you couldn't really move the legs all the time. So this will be more posable. That's if you take it out of the package. Remember, back in the day, I used to just keep them in there and put a push pin in my wall and sort of hang it from the push pin. And I still have some of these things, not a ton, but still have a few more, hiding around here. And so that will be September. But here, we're not done with the news. This one I find very interesting. So if you remember the original starting lineups, right, besides the figure, what did they have in them, right? Remember that baseball card? Well, they're going to have baseball card, or sports card, I should say, again, just like the originals. And Panini is going to be making those cards for the starting lineup. And I find that very interesting. I don't know about you, but here Fanatics has acquired Topps, yet they are using Panini to produce these cards for the figures. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that bodes in the future. I've talked about whether Fanatics can acquire Panini, whether Panini wants Fanatics to acquire them. But I will say this, they're doing business together. Read into that what you will. I think it means something, but again, that's just my opinion. It could be completely wrong. All right, I'm not really weighed in on the LeBron logo man that sold for $2.4 million through Golden. And it's crazy. A lot of the headlines read, disappointing $2.4 million sale, which sounds kind of funny. But when you really take a step back and look at all the variables here, right? Golden, including Ken himself, promoted the heck out of that. Every 5 minutes there was a post about it, right? Before it was pulled, right, you had Drake opening cases of the stuff to try to get it. You had a high-end collector named Shine offering $3 million for it. And so when you look at the 2.4 final sale, that's what the buyer's premium, like where did the hype go? Where was Drake when the auction closed? Where was the Shine guy reportedly wanted to pay $3 million for it? Well, apparently he didn't. Now, I don't know if, he did buy it. I don't know if the buyer has announced themselves. I missed that, so I apologize for that. But, so you have Drake, who's beyond a millionaire, right? You have the Shine high-end collector / dealer, offering $3 million, yet the card goes for 2.4, which is a lot of money, no doubt, right? No one's arguing that. But when you add in the pre-game hype, right? We talk about, pre-fight hype, pre-game hype. The outcome really didn't match that, if you ask me. So, that's crazy to say about a card that sells for $2.4 million, but that's my opinion. When someone says, "Hey, I'm going to pay this for it," now, again, in an auction, right? You have to have variables. You have to have two people willing to go to a certain amount to drive that price up, and so maybe the Shine guy bought it for 2.4. He didn't have to pay the $3 million he initially wanted to. I don't know. Again, if they've announced the buyer, I whiffed on that. I didn't know about it. But again, I think when you take a step back and look at all the stuff happened before the auction, I think most would. We've seen Manos go for $5-6 million. We've seen some Lucas bring some big money. I think people thought this was going to bring more. I'm sure the seller's not that disappointed at 2.4, but still, if you would have asked me beforehand, or at least I thought it was going to bring more. So there you go. PWCC announcing some numbers from their vault that they started in 2018. They have announced that they have over 500,000 cards, different cards in the vault, valued over $1 billion combined. If you are a user that has those cards in the vault, you have digital access to your cards, including pricing as well. You can sell your cards at any time. You can add cards to your vault, and they've changed that. It used to be, minimum value to a card in the vault for free usage of the vault had to be $250. They've now lowered that to $50. We talked a few weeks back about the Mac Jones 101 Black Finite, pulled by a young man who then sold it for $100,000, and then the new owner sold it for $175,000 to a third party. Well, that party sent in the Black Finite 101 Mac Jones to get graded by PSA, and fortunately for them, it pulled a PSA 10. So it looks like that value has significantly went up with the 10 grade from PSA.
I hope someday that some of the young fellows that's coming into the game will know how it feels to be picked in the Hall of Fame.
The voice you just heard right there is none other than George Herman Ruth, affectionately known as Babe. That's during his Hall of Fame induction speech. And as some know, the Babe Ruth Museum and Birthplace is in Baltimore, Maryland. I have not went yet, but on my list of places to check out. Well, you should check it out on July 16th. For the first time ever, they are having a card show there, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., complete with obviously dealers, raffles, live breaks, special guests, and food trucks to curb your appetite. My friend, Danny Black, Baltimore Sports Collectibles, is one of three parties sponsoring the event, along with Robbie's First Base and Sims Sports Cards. So, first time ever, card show at the Babe Ruth Museum in Baltimore. That's July 16th. Lots of things going on, raffles, live breaks, obviously card show. You can buy cards, food truck, special guest prizes, and all sorts of fun. Wish Baltimore was a little closer and I could get there on more of a whim. But wishing my friend Danny luck with that event. I think it's going to be great. If you're in that area or close enough to it, or want to take a trip, July 16th.
And now, our feature presentation.
So like I said in the open, I originally was going to do sort of a prediction, how I see the hobby going, but want to wait till after the National before I jump on that bus. So, it's Independence Day, and I said, as hobbyists, right, as collectors, whatever hobbyist hat you wear, dealer, collector, however you hobby, we have a lot of freedoms, right? A lot of independences. I think most of us get it. Most of us know it. But sometimes I think we forget, right? Or we don't wield those freedoms. We don't wield those power. And as a collective group, right, we hold a lot of power. The landscape has changed, as most know. You got Fanatics coming in and taking over 3 of the 4 major licenses here with Upper Deck retaining hockey. And so it's going to be some new terrain, right? It's the same hobby, but again, the landscape has definitely changed. But we still, ultimately, at the end of the day, right, wield that power wand. What is it? I know I say this all the time, but it's so true, right? It's our wallets. It's our bank accounts. It's our PayPal accounts, Venmo, wherever our hobby money is, and goes from there to something in the hobby, a company, and we obviously control that, right? Unless someone hacks your account, but all joking aside, right? We control where we want to spend our money. We don't like something going on, we can talk with our wallets, right? We don't support that if that's the case. And I don't think we do that enough. We complain, right? And listen, I'm not going to lie about it. Sometimes I'm guilty of this myself, right? We complain about a company or tactics or delays, but yet we still do business with those companies, right? But how do we send a message, right? Stop doing business. And again, I'm not trying to get a company in trouble or cost them money. Not that I have that kind of power. Individually, I do, but but again, let's start speaking with, our wallets, if you will, our purses, and, send that message financially. I think it's happened. I don't want to make it like it's never happened. I think it has happened. I think we've seen companies sort of react to when their numbers come in, right? So, but we can do more, I think, in that department, right? Take control of our hobby, right? We, like I said in that, be your own hobby CEO. You are the CEO of your hobby, whatever way you hobby. I collect rookie cards. I collect basketball only. I do basketball and football. Whatever you do. I don't like graded cards. I do like graded cards, right? You set the tone for how you want to collect, how you want to hobby. I don't sell cards. I want to start doing shows. Again, all these choices are yours, right? And the other thing we forget is just whatever you decide to do, or however you decide to hobby, this isn't a roller coaster. Well, it is a roller coaster ride, but this isn't a roller coaster ride where the bar comes down and you can't get out, right? You can change, right? You can pivot. Hey, I don't do graded cards, but now I kind of want to get into the grading aspect. Hey, I'm in graded. I want to get rid of my graded cards and just collect, all raw. I don't want to have graded cards. Hey, I do ultra modern, but I want to switch over to vintage, right? You can change and pivot at any time. You are the boss of your hobby. You can dictate that, right? Whenever you want to, and if you're comfortable doing something, you don't have to change. But maybe it doesn't do it for you anymore. Maybe it starts to lack the enjoyment it once did. You can change, at any time. The one thing I always tell, I get some questions about, John, I'm not enjoying the hobby. I'm unhappy. I'm thinking about getting out. I get those every so often. I hate when I hear that because I don't want anyone to leave the hobby. But you got to enjoy this process, right? However you hobby, whatever ways you choose to do it, You hear sports teams use the cliche, right? Trust the process. Trust what they're building. They're trying to build a winner, right? I kind of equate that on the hobby side with our individual hobbies, right? Enjoy the process. Whatever you're doing, you should be enjoying it. I know in anything, even something you enjoy, you might have a bad day, right? That, you have a job you love, you have a bad day. I get that. But you should overall have more good days than bad days, right? You should be enjoyed. The hobby is supposed to be sort of an outlet, right? A release from everyday stuff that might stress you out, get you down, right? The hobby's supposed to be fun, and I hope it is. I know that's what it is for me. Even doing these podcasts and content creations is fun. I always said I'll know when it's time to not do them no more. It will have nothing to do with downloads. It honestly won't. It'll be when turning this mic on is not enjoyable or becomes a task or a chore rather than something I look forward to. And I don't anticipate that day coming. I hope it never does. But, if it did, I know that's when to say when, right? But, when it comes to the hobby and enjoying the process, some of the stuff I already talked about, right, might be changing how you hobby, changing what you purchase, how you collect, going in from one thing to another because you don't enjoy the former, and the latter is going to bring you more enjoyment. So enjoy the process, but know that you can change the process at any point, right? You can switch how you do things. You're your own boss. You have no obligation. That's another thing with freedoms, right? You're not obligated to anybody other than following, the rules and the laws, right? So you can change and do whatever you want as long as you're doing it the right way. So you don't, it's not like a job, right, where you have to answer to a boss or there's a company handbook, right? You are the boss. You are your own handbook, and you're under no obligation to anyone other than doing the right thing, right? You sell a card, you get it to the buyer, right? You buy a card, you pay for it, right? So other than those obligations, you can do whatever the heck you want to do. I talk about NFTs, right? Not my thing. Not a fan of them. But, I know people who listen to the show we did, an NFT giveaway through Candy Digital. They were nice enough to do that. Matter of fact, we still have another one to give away here soon. But might not be my thing, but it's your thing, right? And, I support that. Well, again, it's not something I'll do. I'll support it if you do. I'll talk about it. I have people on these shows to say why they like about it or what's coming into the space or what's new coming down the line, right? You have choices, right? If you're into card grading, whether you're submit or buy graded cards, right? You have choices, right? You have lots of choices. I think there's like 100 grading card companies now. Now, if you ask me, they're not all viable, obviously. Some are a lot better than others, right? Generally, people are calling it the Big Four, right? PSA, SGC, Beckett, CSG. But again, there's 96 other ones with those Big Four. So you can, if you grading's your thing, you have choices there. If you don't like how you're treated by one, you can switch to the other. If you enjoy the process, how you're being treated, or the service you're getting, you can stick with them, right? You have that say. You have that power. Again, what you collect. I do both vintage and modern, but I've always done vintage. I've always done modern or whatever was at the current times. But I will say this, in the last 2 years, I've just grown. My affinity towards vintage has grown, and I've really went heavy on that side. I haven't completely ignored modern, but I've really keyed on vintage, and I'm doing multiple things. That's the other thing. You don't have to be locked in to just one thing. That's up to you. And so I'm going to wrap it up there. But the moral of today's show, or the thought process with today's show is, you have all these hobby freedoms, use them, right? Why not use them? Whether that's speaking with your financials and your wallets and purses, choose what you want to collect, how you want to enjoy the hobby, because at the end of the day, right, if this is not enjoyable, I mean, there's so many different ways you can do this. If you can't find one that's enjoyable, first off, I'd be surprised by that, and hate to see, ultimately someone not be in the hobby or leave the hobby, right? The future of the hobby is being to sustain people that we have and, bring new people in the hobby. Like Fanatics has said, love them or hate them, but their goal is to make their hobby a bigger place. That doesn't bother me. I think that's smart, right? I guess my trepidation, I just hope they do it the right way, at least in my opinion. Well, that remains to be seen. But again, power to the hobby, power to the people. You have it, use it. Thanks, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's Hobby Quick Hits. Again, hope you have a safe and healthy 4th of July. I want to say a quick thank you to you out there that make this show, Sports Card Nation, what it is from almost 4 years ago. We wouldn't still be here if it wasn't for you. We had a great month of June, and with downloads, even my sales, that's a whole different topic, but downloads were up significantly, and that's hard to do when you've done a podcast for a while. You sort of hit plateaus and whatnot, and we're competing with the weather, right? It's nice out. There's a lot of things to do outside. Believe me, if anyone knows, I love going on my deck with a beverage, maybe a cigar, and just take a snooze or just relax, hang with my dog, my wife, my family, not listen to anything. And the fact that in this warm weather months that you're still listening, and we appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge that and say thank you. We got the National approaching. I'm excited. I hope everyone else is as well. Hope to meet, as I always say, many of you there again, or some for the first time. I'm a very approachable guy. If you see me, if you know who I am and you want to say hello, again, I'm open for in-person feedback too. Hey, like the show, love the show. Hey, man, did you ever think of this? Or you can make it better by doing that. Please, my door's always open. In person, contact us via social media, any way you choose. So, we need that stuff too to get better, so we can keep doing what we're doing. So we're gonna call it a show. Again, thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you very soon. Another episode of Hobby Quick Hits Monday, and Friday, another episode of Sports Card Nation, which this week will be me and Mike Moynihan, baseball collector from YouTube and Bench Clear Media, breaking down the National. We're going to go day by day, tell you all tips and tricks, who's signing, and different approaches for each day. Pretty in-depth. So I hope you listen to that show. That will be this Friday if you're listening to this, a Monday release day or any time before Friday. So if you're listening to it after that, go back if you haven't already listened to it and check it out. Mike knows his stuff, and we both love the National and wanted to share that love through that show. All right, folks, thanks again. Take care.